words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in the cup of sight. He is our strength and our redeemer. And it is in his name, which is his authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, protect, and protect today's message. Amen. Olá, meu nome é Kofi, como está? Bonjour, je m'appelle Kofi, ça va? Ni hao, namaste, usayende kituguya, ahayo, I see you, Manut, Wagwan, Kamsa, Kamsamida, Aloha, Ciao, Ensemble, Abarigani, Aquaba, Madasi, Itase, Jambo, Bibidi Kofi, Nini Franco, Katana Nuewe, Boker To, Boker Ta, Grand Rising, Bakwata, Rakala Champion Heaven, Anai, Vai, Kenneth of Christ, Shalom Key, or I said Grand Rising, it's not Grand Rising, excuse me. But Shalom family, how's everybody doing? Pastor Kofi, Pastor Servant to Christ, but we're always changing lives one mind at a time, being the voice of the voices, and speaking the unspoken. So as you can see, in a nice area, sharing a little bit of background with you on the trip that we're on right now. We're at the Grand Canyon. I know that a lot of SOC was over here yesterday, or at least SOC that was with us was over here yesterday, but able to stand in front of you and show you a little bit of what's being seen over here. Hopefully you guys are doing well. And while I was standing over here, I had a thought for tonight's video. By the way, I will be off tomorrow, so I will not see you tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm going to take those days off for real. So you know, besides maybe a phone call here or there, making sure some stuff has to be taken care of that's emergency wise, we'll make sure that we are there. Glad to see you guys on it. Before we get started, before we say the Bible pledge, and before we jump into a quick message for this evening, just thank you everybody for being on once again. Let's say shalom to everybody real quick. Peace. How you doing, Sister Knight? How you doing, Sister Shirley? Glad that you made it back. To the boys, and to the fam. Let's see.
Hi.
How you doing, big brother Thomas, Joy Boy, John Kid, Coach AB, Lottie Dottie, and everybody. If I missed you for any reason, charge to my head, not to my heart. Now we're back at 8 p.m. New York time, by the way, so probably everybody's like confused this last, the Passover season gets very busy. So everybody, the mom was probably confused as far as what time we on, if we on, etc. So, but I'll be off. So to make it even more confusing, I'll be off tomorrow, Wednesday. But it is what it is. But how you doing, Darius? How you doing, Sister Mignon? By the way, Patreon fam, if you guys been checking, I've been posting. So hopefully you guys have been getting some videos in between every once in a while. And thank you guys for being on again. Thank you guys for being awesome, amazing, obedient, all that great stuff. We're glad it looks like everybody's pretty much made it home. I think we're just waiting on 2 persons to know that they made it back to the house. So, thank you everybody for being with us over this Passover season. It was very enjoyable. Everybody seemed to got something out of it, had some great calls and conversations about things that have happened. So we probably will ask you guys, you know what, we probably should ask you by Thursday. So we'll probably send out something to you guys at least by Thursday, and hope that you can do it maybe by the end of the week, a little thing to just tell us what you like, dislike, could have done better, etc., etc. So we can try and improve upon Passover next year, and even the next holiday coming up in June, and even the meetup in May for Memorial Day weekend. So the only thing I have announcement-wise is that once again I'll be off tomorrow and Wednesday. Elder Select Tamara will be preaching on Wednesday evening, so prayerfully you catch her at 8:30 p.m. New York time. Thursday will be start off with Thursday Rising Prayer. We'll have our regular live session, and then we'll have our evening session, and then we'll have it's called a SOC community meeting. It'll be a brief, tiny meeting, and the rest of it we'll have fun for Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay, so we'll be doing some interesting things. I might even ask some of you to do a couple things to help us have a little bit of fun. I know that it's a weekday, so I don't know how long the children can be up, but if they can be up for a tiny bit of it, we'll try to do the children's stuff first. Maybe they can have some fun as well. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, excuse me. Sorry about that. But anyways, we lost TikTok. Well, hopefully they'll come back on. But anyways, sorry about that. We had a phone call come up. But anyways, I wanted to just talk real quick about the vastness, and talk about that it is that what Yah has for you, it might be vast, but it doesn't mean that what He has for you is not obtainable, right? But let's say our Bible pledge first. You can just repeat after me. This is my Bible. This is my sword, and this will I trust. For Yahshua is Lord. No sort of God shall ever be heard. For this is my Bible, and this is Yah's word. Hashem Yechavach, Aman, which is in Yechavah Shem, his name is authority. Aman, Amin, let it be done unto us. So, just real quick, before we get on the road, I wanted to be obedient and come out and talk with you guys. And how you doing, Minister Stephen? How you doing, Minister Tracy? How you doing, Beck? How you doing, Sister Michelle? And anybody I missed, please forgive me. Just wanted to come out and talk about, like, it's vast. I don't even know if that's the title I have on YouTube, but it's vast, but it's obtainable. And what I mean by that is this. It's like, if you look out at this, right, this is huge. And if we be honest, it's like a fraction of the Grand Canyon. Like, it looks, and it is. Don't get it twisted. It is vast. I tried to get up high enough that you can kind of see, you know, what's going on, the depth of it. You know, the stuff carved out by water over time, the different things that you can tell the person lived in certain places high up and all that stuff or whatever. You know, it's vast, right? But this is just a fraction of it. But that means that if you were to try to walk this, or to get a donkey and go up and down on some of this, or if you were to try to do a lot of different things, you would realize, like, that it could take somebody, even with what we see, maybe not necessarily a lifetime, but a long time, right? To be able to walk, do different things, etc., to experience all the different stuff, right? And somebody could see something like this and kind of get overwhelmed, you know, if you were to, you know, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, Yah gives us these things, and they're so big, they're so vast, they don't make sense. A lot of times, even we start to, like, get frustrated, or we'll even argue about stuff with other persons about what Yah has for us, because what He has for us is like something that seems like it's unobtainable. But believe it or not, given time, given training, you have to learn how to climb and do some other stuff. Given time, training, animals to work with, maybe even other persons to work with, and thinking about things the way that Yahweh wants, you would be able to actually go through all of this that you see. But it seems like it's way too much work, right? But it is actually obtainable, though, right? It really is. Like, this is actually obtainable. You could actually get this, right? What Yah wants for you. And I say all that to say this, is that, you know, what Yah has for you, it seems like it's a lot, right? It seems like it's a big deal. It seems like it's something you got to fight for all the time, fight over all the time, go through this, go through that, go through extremes, right? There's extreme weathers here, by the way. It can get really hot here. As soon as the sun goes down, it'll get pretty cold here. Not as cold as it can in the winter, but it can get really cold. The extremes, you know, there can be a lot of stuff of what you see that Yah shows you. How you doing, TJ? But at the same time, just because there's extremes doesn't mean that what is there is not obtainable. And even we at SOC, we've been given, like, a mission, a directive to do stuff that seems to be unobtainable, right? Just at the mere look of some of the stuff. But if you look at even some of the things we've already began to do, right, you'll discover and you'll see real quick that, like, we've actually done a lot. We've done a lot all over the world. We've done things to make sure that babies are eating. We've done stuff to where babies are becoming friends. We've seen marriages form at SOC. We've seen ministerial staff grow. We've seen persons in need financially be able to be blessed. We've seen a whole bunch of different things. How you doing, Sister Shima? And even just in your personal lives, when I talk to you all, I know that you guys tell me that there's a lot of growth and a lot of things that you see as well, right? And there's something, and here's one of the things that I want to point out, like with us, you know, and look at this in your life too, because God's going to put persons with you to help you as well. It might seem unobtainable, even though it's really not, but it might seem unobtainable for you to do something like this by yourself, but realize you're not by yourself, right? Y'all, the one who made this, is the one who said that this is your territory, right? And then He gives you persons, right? He says, write down the vision and make it plain upon the tablets. What's for the next part? What's the next part say? So that he or she, if you would like, but he that readeth it will run with it. So it's not even your responsibility to run with it; it's others. So if He's given you the vision and He scoped it out and He's shown you the beauty of the vision, right? Focus on the beauty of it. Don't focus on the hardships of it, because if Yah said it will come to pass, He will not give you anything that's bigger than what you can handle, right? Hopefully y'all can hear me, by the way. I know I'm whispering, but I'm not I'm not in a position to, like, go in like we would normally go in. But prayerfully you get what I'm saying, right? Is that in the midst of, like, I can tell you with certainty, being able to visit y'all, come by and see everybody, speak in the person's lives that we do, my family being able to go here, there, etc., like all over, you know, the map, you know, to a certain degree, and be able to see persons now and seeing this grow. Um, Not too long ago, I would have told you like that's kind of wild, right? Yeah, I'm glad we made it too. So I would have told you it's kind of wild for me to, you know, now I wake up, it's interesting. The things that at one point I would have said it's kind of wild for somebody to suggest that I would be doing is now the stuff that I'm actually like, you know, prepared myself for daily, right? And at one point somebody would have said it'd been too fast. Somebody would have said having at least one, if not two messages that could be total like 3 to 4.5 hours every day.
Papa.
You know, besides other teachings, besides school, besides making sure that we're growing and learning. How you doing, Brother Ali? Besides talking to persons about personal business, besides making sure that I'm helping out the community, I would have said, yeah, that seems like it's a lot. Seems like you're asking too much of me, but I had to grow too, right? Just like this had a chance to grow. You know, like this didn't happen overnight either. Regardless of whether you believe in creationism, you believe in evolution, right? If you believe that man had power to be able to do stuff, some persons believe aliens came out the sky and did this, whether you believe this was Kemet, whatever the case might be, this took time to materialize, right? So don't get caught up on the vastness of it, right? How you doing, Brother Kenyatta? Don't get caught up on the vastness, right? How big it is, how vast it is, right? Realize that this is obtainable, right? Don't get caught up on that you can, like, put it like this. There are some persons, like when SOC came together, they got to see this for the first time, right? And I'm thankful and grateful they had a chance to come out and see this for the first time. When they came out and saw this for the first time, right, it became real to them. It was obtainable. Maybe they thought, how you doing, Sis Monica? How you doing, MIT Akita? Maybe at some point they thought this was unobtainable, right? Or maybe they didn't think it was something, maybe it was on their bucket list, but it's not real to you. And this doesn't really do it justice, you know? You kind of got to be here to really experience how vast this is, right? And also, I want to put this on here too. Holy Spirit just spoke something to me. You know, sometimes you'll be sitting there and something so vast, I don't think that you really catch. If you're not careful, you can begin to believe that you're insignificant in compared to what you've been shown. How you doing, Sister Deborah? Right? And I want to remind you, you're not insignificant. You wouldn't be given the assignment that you've been given and the vision you've been given if you were not significant enough or worthy enough or inspired enough even to do what Yah says, right? It's the Grand King. So, you know, you have to be in a position, you have to realize where you are, what Yah has for you and stuff, and He didn't choose you. All right, the vision seems like it's something that's impossible. By the way, you know, you've been given a vision that's not just in time, right? There are some deadlines on your vision as far as time, but you know, there's some vision that you've been given that's eternal. So sometimes the things that you're seeing too, realize that you might carve out the first part, or you might climb the first mountain, but it's not for your generation, maybe to climb the next 3 or 4. You see? So sometimes we'll feel too insignificant, or we'll feel like, you know, what's that saying, that somebody can be a genius, or their genius is not recognized in their time? Right, there's somebody out there. There's a lot of persons out there who do a lot of great things, and it's not until after they pass away that we go, oh, yeah, so and so was amazing. His mind was great. This and that. Right. So you know, there's a lot of different things, and I'm sorry, I'm not catching everything because the sun is in my eye. I think I saw a question about, is this where the floods open up? It's believed by some that it could be one of the spots, right? Because it does say for weeks before there was actual rain that there was the sprouting up, but we don't know for sure, right? If I be honest with you, there are persons that with more geological study or more geological precision than I have could probably explain yes the yay and nays of that, but I don't really have the ability to do that. But I'm just saying, you know, that being said, I want to make it a point to say, like, just because you have a vision that's vast and it's something that seems like it's too big, there's nothing that's too big or too hard for y'all. Right? Baba Kasha. Right? There's nothing. So it might not even be for you to get all the way to what you see back there. Right? But that's why we're setting this up for the next generation. And the generation after them, and the generation. See, some of y'all think this, we have to get out of that church thinking, you know, where it's like, oh yeah, we you know, we're building this for We're building this for Sundays, and we're just going to come for worship only. We're building something for our children's children to live in. I know it says children's children in the word, right? So let me make that clear. However, I like to think about my great grandchildren, because the Bible says like this. Remember, a lot of persons use the last part of Proverbs 13:22 only, and they'll say that the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. But the first part says that you have to take care of your children's children, right? If you're thinking about your children's children, then for me, I'm trying to start thinking about my great grandchildren. If my great grandchildren are straight, then my grandchildren must be straighter. And my grandchildren are straighter, then my children will be fine. If my children are fine, then I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be okay. You know. So that's what we're trying to do is set up something generationally and build upon it. Even if you look at it, depending on your belief system, of course. But let's go with some of the modern science and geological studies and stuff like that. You even see that there's layers. Those of you who are in Sedona, you probably recognize that there's layers to a certain degree, right? Now, whether you want to believe they're down up or up down, we can have a conversation. If you want to talk about it, is it water erosion, or is it just over time? Is it the volcano? Because apparently there's supposed to be an active volcano underneath. There's all types of persons that would debate how it formed. I'm not here to do all that, right? But what I can tell you is that you'll see that there are, in fact, layers, right? And when you see the layers, right, that means that this has taken time to stack up. So even in the growth of each mountain, there's time, right? You see what I'm saying? Yeah, like for me, it's almost as if I took a finger and was like, let me do that real quick, you know. But that being said, there's somebody that might. So, but whatever reason you think the layers are there, it shows that there's a stacking. There's layers to it. There's time, right? There's minerals that had to take place and be on top of one, on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other. Because rock basically we're dealing with minerals, right? Even with erosion, if you feel like this is all erosion, it still takes time, right? So what we're trying to do once again is build something that, my prayer is that y'all come back in a few days, but who knows, right? So we don't know. No man knows the day nor the hour, but we do know that we can make sure that generations are growing and moving on top of each other over and over again. The same way that Yah has created, by the way. We try to do things the way that Yah does anyways. So that's the goal. I'm not going to hold y'all any longer. I just wanted to make sure we were faithful to the night. So hopefully you got something out this message, quick message. I'm going to go ahead and start getting ready to get us on the road. We'll see a few of you guys, in Cali in 2-3 days, something like that. We'll make sure that we're reaching out to you. Ministers in training, we're supposed to have our training session on tomorrow at 8 p.m. New York time. So it'll be a somewhat quick session, but we want to make sure we start getting the sermon writing done. So prayerfully, I'll talk to you guys then. Everybody else, I'll see you guys Thursday, 7 a.m. Thursday round of prayer, 8 a.m. live session, 8 p.m. live session on Thursday, and then 9 p.m. we'll have some fun for Feast of Unleavened Bread. Remember, it is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, so until April 19th, unless you're doing makeup Passover, until April 19th, no leaven. If you are doing makeup Passover with us and celebrating it again, or doing it and interceding on behalf of somebody else, April 20th will be makeup Passover, all right? It won't be the same way we did it on Zoom exactly. I'll probably, matter of fact, even do it on TikTok and YouTube probably, but just to give y'all a heads up and a reminder, okay? But thank y'all for being on. Love y'all to life. Praying for your safety for those who haven't made it back home yet. Pray for us as we get on the road. And if once again, Patreon, check what's going on. Oh, and don't forget, Elder Select Tamara will be on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. New York time, and check out our YouTube channel when you get a chance. All right. So shalom, peace, family, and we give our honor and praise to the Most High. We give our praise and honor to Him for my wife, the honor of Alma, and remember as always that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you're fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, will be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be of it. All right. Shalom. Take care. Peace. Oh well, I guess you know what. Besides the horn honking, I guess you guys can look out if you like for a little bit with me and just marvel at what Yah's behavior.
Okay.